Good evening and welcome to my Greg Talk on data-driven education. I am in my second year of teaching, and as like most of you, I am in the certificate program at UNCC to get my teaching certificate so that I can continue teaching past year three. And I really took a minute to think about this topic because I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something, right? So I started my career and I had this picture of what teaching looked like. It didn't take me long to realize that it was way off base and was very simplistic with an approach that really didn't collect much from the perspective of data. So I started asking around, and what and how do you collect data? And most of what feedback I got was standardized testing. So knowing that standardized testing is just a small piece of the puzzle, but traditionally it's been a very large piece of the inclusive data set. You take a standardized test, you spreadsheet that information, and then you teach, or readdress or teach differently or however that might look, right? But I knew that it had to be somewhere a little broader than that. So I started asking around. I talked to my mentor. I went to my administrative, vice principals, things like that, just to ask, what is it or what does it mean truly to do data-driven instruction? And I still got some answers that dealt with testing, calculation of, characteristical numbers, like what do the numbers show me about who retained what? But I still didn't feel like that was the full picture. And so I started to kind of introspect and reflect and just think about what was it that I was currently seeing? What am I teaching my kids, and what do I understand, right? So I wanted to get a better picture of what the data side of what I was seeing looked like. So I've gone through a couple of iterations of redevelopment of my curriculum to include some new qualitative assessment styles, discussion boards, and things like that, reflections. Take an opportunity as a student. Tell me, what is your experience going like? Tell me what your perspective on this topic in discussion. What does this topic mean to you? What do you retain from it? What strikes you as good or bad or positive or negative or functional or dysfunctional about this device or topic, right? So trying to change from just a standardized set of information to something that was a little more robust that helped me understand the student a little bit better, right? So throughout the last 2 years, I've gone through this transformational process, almost like a butterfly, to gain more information and to seek out new ways to assess both quantitatively and qualitatively, but to get away from what I think is maybe the piece of the puzzle that has us stuck. I think we get too stuck in numbers and trying to put a number on a child's success, or this child is worth a 73.658 because that's what they got on a standardized test. But I don't think it's that simple. So I'm challenging myself as I go through the last 2 years to understand a little bit more about what the data is showing me. And I get what the numbers show. I think we all get what the numbers show, right? We can put a set of numbers down on a piece of paper that tell us and paint a picture for us, but I think it just tells us something that's very basic, and it tells us how the kids who are achievers, how they achieve. But we can get muddied and we can see a lot of wrong or a lot of underachievement and not be able to see the data that's in there because it's all in red, as they said in the videos, right? So I would challenge us all watching this video to step away from just relying on standardized testing to do or show us what our students are learning, but rely on the qualitative side of it and get more toward seeing the looks on their faces and understanding their body language and knowing if they're checked in or checked out, engaged or not, talking to counselors, doing discussion groups with them and interviewing them once, maybe every 6 weeks or every 3 weeks to understand who they are and what they're going through. Because I think it's a little bit deeper, and even something that kind of stuck with me as we went through the last weeks of this learning process at UNCC, understanding that it's not important, and I think this is a realization that I hit. It's not important for me to make the students fit inside my curriculum. It's important for me to bend the curriculum to a certain degree so that it fits the students and it allows them to operate in their own space while they learn to swim in the deep end. And Dr. Dawson, that came from her, but truly to allow them to wade in the shallow end and learn and develop and grow until they can swim in the deep end. And I think that's the important piece that I'd like you to take away today. So thank you for watching.